How to land your first wholesaling deal in the next 30 days. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Rick Ginn here.
And in today's video, I'm going to show you how, with no budget at all, you could start going out here and landing your first wholesale deal. Now, it's easy to say, a little more work to tell you, but we're going to show you exactly today, exactly the steps you need to take. And we're going to get a little chippy. That's all I could say. We're not going to play it easy today because the excuses, they have to be gone. And, you know, what kind of inspired me to talk about this today was I got a couple people that, you know, and I ain't complaining, right? As somebody that, you know, we're doing 8 figures in wholesaling, I make a lot of money. And we basically, you know, with X leads, there's a couple of people that says, hey, I did X leads and, you know, I didn't get any results from it. And this is me not complaining. And I always like, hey, let me take over this. Let me talk to the person.
Mm-hmm.
How many calls did you make? Well, I want a refund. I didn't get any deals from. I'm like, how many calls you make? I'm like, I said this. I said, if you could show me you did 500 calls, I'll give you a full refund. I'll refund $2,000. I have no care. And like, well, I didn't make any calls. And I'm like, we're gonna give you. We give the person a refund, but like, just I don't want if they want a refund, whatever, right? But like, everyone wants to blame everything, but nobody wants to look at themselves. And what I want to do is how you create this accountability with yourself, so you can actually go out here and get the work done. And the craziest thing is that all I had to do is just say, hey, just show me you did 500 calls and you're good. And you can prove X lead sucks. They can't you just do the 500 calls. It's insanity. It's insanity. Everyone wants to point the fingers at everything except for the amount of work they need to do. Now, again, it's not all about the volume. It's not all about, but most of the time I'm going to tell you, it is not the money that is going to be the reason why you can't become successful in wholesaling. It is never, ever going to be the money. Okay? It never. All right. But we have to talk about this first and foremost. Before I get into the actual like step by step, you need to do this. You need to do that. This has to happen. That has to happen. Boom, 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 right? We got to talk about one important word, a very important word. This word is balance. Let's talk about balance right now. Let's talk about balance today, all right? So if we actually want to go out here and get our first wholesale deal and start making at minimum, okay? At minimum, okay? At minimum, we want to start making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month. That's pretty life-changing, right?
Yeah.
That would change, I think, everyone's life in here, right? I think this is why we're like, oh, wow. And that's why a lot of us get excited about wholesaling real estate, because the prospect of going out here and making $10,000 a month, life-changing. And so we're looking at wholesaling real estate as something that is absolutely life-changing, right? Wow, that's going to change everything for me. Okay, so we should start treating it and working like it's something that's going to change my life, right? Because a lot of people look at wholesaling as life-changing, but they just want to do kind of low-level work to it. You have to go all in. And I'm not telling you that you need to go quit your job or doing these crazy parts, but we have to talk about the word balance. So I'm going to give everyone in here, before we get into exactly get your first deal in the next 30 days, we're going to have to look at this word balance, and we're going to have to choose. Number one, this is brutal truth number one. You either choose to have work-life balance or you choose to have, this is very important, or you choose to have a big bank balance. You must pick one. Let me repeat myself. Either you choose to have work-life balance starting out, or you choose to have a big bank balance. You only get one choice starting out in wholesaling. Now, once you get rich and successful and jacked and handsome like me, you can have both. But currently, when you start out, you do not get both. You only get one. And if you choose the work-life balance, that's great. Your bank balance will never be big.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to this. I thought for 12 years living the perfect balanced life, which in reality it wasn't, because a lot of us try to, you know, keep up with the Jones and look rich instead of becoming rich. But guys, the balance is you're going to have to go all in, and you're going to have to do extreme stuff to make wholesaling work. X leads will help you. It ain't going to do it for you. If it did, I wouldn't be even on this live stream. So the reality is you are going to get out of whack. And some of you are scared to do it, but the payoff is on the other side if you'll do it. You are going to get out of balance. What do I mean by that? You're going to spend a ton of time. You're going to feel wildly uncomfortable. You're going to get massively rejected, and you're going to question what you're doing. Remember, you can always go back to your safe job. But if you can get through it, I promise you everything you want is on the other side. So the reality is you have to get out of balance to get in balance. You got to make offers for them to take the offers. You've got to get going. And I'm just telling you, stop using your old personality to be successful in wholesaling. It didn't work there. Remember, your personality is just your habits in a loop. That's all they are. That's all a personality is when you boil down to it. So, except I'm going to get wildly out of balance to get in balance. It doesn't mean you're still going to keep the core stuff, which we'll talk about today, in line. But like, guys, do you want a tiny little bank balance or do you want a big bank balance? It's your choice. Get out of whack so you can get in whack. I'm just telling you, I've lived it.
I like that.
And you can fix it, because wholesaling has fixed so many other things in my life, but I had to fix my financials and I had to just make sure bills got paid. So that's it, guys.
We have to make that decision. So let's make a decision right now. Okay, we're going to turn the comments on the side here. Let's go see. Are you choosing? Pick one. Say, I want a work-life balance and stay broke, or I might want to be a little out of whack, but I'm eventually doing this so I have a big bank balance. Let us know in the comments. Pick one. What are you choosing right now? We got to know. What is everyone choosing? Because it's very important that we make a commitment before we start going out here and getting the information. All right. The biggest issue we see is we say, oh, do this. Okay. And you get excited for 2 or 3 days. And then guess what happens? I'm feeling tired. Oh, this is a lot. What did I say about work-life balance? And here's the thing about wholesaling real estate. We are not hauling tile miles and miles in 100-degree temperatures outside doing lawn work. Like, we're talking about, like, you know, we're doing a lot of construction on some of our multifamilies right now, and we're running out here just like giving gallons of water to people, right? And I'm like looking at these people, and they work way harder than me. I'll be honest with you, okay? You know, we had all these concrete guys working they were almost passing out.
That's terrible.
You know, at one of our buildings.
It's the hottest time of year.
And like, I'm like, you're working way harder than me. But the thing about it is, it's all easy from the air conditioning. Like, this is all we're doing. We're staying in the AC, if hopefully you have AC, and you're just talking to sellers. Like, I mean, when we talk about hard work, some of y'all in here are like working outside in the hot sun. Like, you guys are working way harder than any of this wholesaling stuff. And so I kind of refuse to hear about how tough and brutal wholesaling real estate can be compared to how most people work. And of course, being stuck in a 9-to-5 job, right? That's a different kind of suck, a different kind of grind. But we got to really put life into perspective here. Okay. Now, I don't work in a farm, but I can only imagine it's not really fun to be working on a farm in the heat all day, every day, right? I don't think it'd be fun, right? I'm not doing back-breaking work and all these things, right? Like, so just really like understand, and we got to really put life into perspective here. If you go look outside of the United States, Europe, and maybe like China, Japan, right? Like outside of those countries, right? Maybe you could put the Middle East in there. Most of people's lives, you know, in the second and third world are brutal, absolutely brutal. And we got to understand that, yeah, maybe you want to be in the top 1% of Americans, but like being top 1% of the world is like making 20 grand a year. So let's just really, really, really put in perspective how hard your life really is. Okay. Now, if you were blessed to have great grandparents or grandparents that were immigrants and they came from another part of the whole world, they come to America like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. Oh my gosh, right? And 2 generations later, you guys are all complaining on social media about how hard life is. Guys, you got to understand how blessed you are to be here and how relatively easy wholesaling real estate is compared to anything else. All right. And it is never, ever, ever, ever going to be the industry's reason why you can't become successful. We're teaching you for free right now. We're giving you all the information you need right now. The only thing that's going to stop you is yourself. So you need to pick one. Looks like everyone's picked a big bank account over work-life balance, which I think is a really good idea. Okay. So now we've committed. We can now go out here and start attacking because now we're committed. So when it gets hard, we remember we committed, right?
Yeah. I remember when I started wholesaling, someone told me, and I used to laugh. I'm like, yeah, right. They said, just work. What was it? Make your bank balance look like your phone number.
I like that.
And I used to laugh. I go, God, come on, man. I just need I just need to make like 5 or 10 grand, just a grand. And I look back now, I go, man, that's kind of a low goal if like you look at it. But I'm just telling you the reality of this is to make your bank balance look like your phone number. And then you can start adding all other sorts of digits to it. But I used to laugh at it. I go, it's exciting, but like I never really committed in my mind. And I'm just telling you, dude, if I can do it, anybody can do it here. But we got to get you started on your first deal. But think about it, guys. Let me tell you, my bank account when I started, I couldn't even like dial 911. Like if I had $100 in there, it was awesome. So I've gone from a negative to a positive, went to paying my bills. And then, but the thing is, once you get wholesaling going, you get that comfort, you can start to put things in line in your life. But like in the beginning, man, you've got to get some unbalance to get this going. So, and by the way, there's nobody who ever created anything worthwhile in life outside of a trust fund or something like that. They were all out of balance. Everybody I've ever talked to, we read, and the bigger the business, the more out of balance they get. We're living proof, period. So just get it because it will put you in balance.
There we go. So again, I will let everybody know, if you're a father, if you're a mother, if you're a spouse, I'm not trying to tell you that you should be a terrible father or a terrible spouse. Like, okay, like let's get relative here. Okay. I will never tell anyone to do that. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. These all like be a man guys, just like, yeah, dump everything, go all in on business. Okay, I'll divorce my wife and leave my kids and go all in on no. We're not telling you that. Okay. Unfortunately, we have to put these disclaimers out here, right? Just still spend time with your children, spouse, and all these things. But like when I'm talking about going all in and getting rid of the work-life balance, like I'm talking about getting rid of the stupid stuff. I think for 98% of everyone in here, if you get rid of the stupid stuff, your Netflix, your doom scrolling, you're getting these terms down pretty well. The doom scrolling.
Let me tell you, it is, if you turn it on, so you have an iPhone, like you will be shocked. Now, part of the exception is a lot of us use our phones for working computers to a point.
Okay,
but
sure.
TikTok's not working.
If I open up your Instagram, it's just going to be nonstop lions attacking other animals, fishing.
No, fishing.
And sure. It's just going to be like crazy videos.
A lot of David Goggins.
And then a lot of dog and kitten videos. Pretty much those four in sports in a constant loop.
That's your mother, not me.
No, but like, here's the problem though. Like the algorithm will feed you exactly what you want to hear.
No, I know. So it's
here's
the king of distraction.
And let me tell you about these TikToks you want. And some of y'all get in this like hustle culture TikTok. It's David Goggins and it's Alex Hormozy and then it's Gary Vee. And let me just tell you what they all say. There's a guy on a TikTok I saw is actually really fascinating. He went on his TikTok and he showed his feed of like all these influencers telling you to like work hard. They all say pretty much the same thing in different ways.
Yeah.
Eat dirt, work hard, put your head down to become rich and successful. Like it's pretty much the same exact thing. And so you don't need to be watching any more motivation video. Just go out here and become a man that is going to become rich and successful for your family. And the reason I say man, not like everyone, is about 80% men watching this. And so I'm just going to say man because that targets specific people. If you want to be the woman that becomes rich and successful, go do that too. But guys, do not become a terrible spouse, father, whatever, right? Don't be that person like you got to take care of an elderly. Like, no, I got a cold call. Like there's balance in life too. But like I'm not telling you to be a terrible family member, something like that. That's always before everything else.
But you know how you become a great family member?
becoming rich and successful. I did a whole
you provide for them.
I did a whole video, and this is gonna be on my personal Zach Ginn channel.
Okay.
But I basically did this. I'm like, okay, if you're 20 years old right now, and if you grind for the next 5 years and make $500,000 a year, okay, let's look at it. If you work a job right now, working 40 hours a week, and if you grind for 5 years, you probably have to work about 15 hours a day. But at the end of the 5 years, you're going to be working the same as you're starting out, but your salary is going to be 20x. And it's like, would you be? And then you could hire a team, work 20 hours a week. Who would be a better spouse and father? Somebody who's making $500,000 working 20 hours a week, or someone making 40 hours a week with vacation, right? And so technically, I can make the argument that to be the best, version of yourself for your spouse and your kids and everything, you should probably get rich and successful. Just saying, But okay, let's get back to actually what we got to do, right? We first have to commit before we have an attack and a plan for action. So let's get some real talk right now. Okay, it's so easy for me to pretty much separate. Okay, let me tell you this. Okay, so easy for me to separate the people that are actually making it in wholesaling and not making it in wholesaling. So real talk here. Okay, you're probably not going to see any results in wholesaling until you hit 1,000 calls, 1,000 texts, and or you do 500 trying for dollars leads. So if somebody wants to go out here and say, I'm not having success, I'm not getting any deals, it just doesn't work, my market's set, and blah, 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 right? Blah, 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 blah. Before y'all just start dumping about how hard the world is and life is, new rule, I don't want to hear anybody complain about how hard wholesaling is until you get at least 1,000 calls in, you do at least 1,000 texts and 500 drawing for dollars leads. And then you can get a little bit of equity in here to start complaining about how tough wholesaling real estate is. But guys, if you're doing less and you're complaining, I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it anymore. Because let me tell you some dang truths here that you don't want to even hear, okay? So if you want to do less than that to get a wholesale deal, like get out of here. The door's that way, okay? Get out of here. You know why I'm telling you should be doing at least 1,000 calls, 1,000 texts, 500 trying for dollars leads? You know why?
Why?
Because that's the bar. That's the bar that most of these TikTok brain-rotted teens can't hit. You know why? Because they're on their TikTok all day and they're like, oh, I want to get rich. Okay. They get to like 200 calls and they're, I can't do it. I can't. And they all quit, right? That's like the bar. Like, if you can hit that, your chance of success in wholesaling just skyrockets. But the problem is most people can't even hit that. Like saying, hey, do you want to get like healthy, right? If you can go to the gym 1 hour a day, 5 days a week for 3 months straight, then your chance of becoming fit like skyrockets, right?
I don't know where you're going with that.
No, it gets skyrocket. If you want to get fit, right? If you work out, 5 hours a week consistently, if you do that for 3 months straight, you're more likely to keep that habit going versus doing it one day and then you're not consistent, right? And so the bar to become just to have some leads and success is so low. It's so low. And a lot of people say, oh, well, Zach, when you started wholesaling 9 years ago, that's how old I am now. This is crazy. But basically 9 years ago, you could do way less calls to get deals. I'll be honest with you. Free skip tracing wasn't a thing. X leads wasn't a thing, right? But I will tell you this, there's way less wholesalers in the game and there's a lot less knowledge. But the thing about it is there's more wholesalers. The amount of wholesalers that were successful back in 9 years ago is actually way higher than now. Problem is we have so many wholesalers who are not succeeding because they get in, they do it for a month and they leave, right? But the percent it takes to be in the top 10% of wholesalers, it's so dang simple. It's so easy.
Guys, the average person doing wholesaling has no buy-in. And the first person that attacks them or rejects them, or maybe the second or third, they quit. The problem is more and more people just keep coming in, people leave, people coming in. And you guys call it saturation. I'm just telling you, when it comes down to getting a deal, once I can locate them, it's so easy for me to beat the competition because they're weak. And I'm just telling you, if you compare, look around the people you work with, everything, Those are the people you're averagely competing. So if I get 100 people coming to wholesaling, you get like 10 or 15 that really push it. And out of that, maybe 7 or 8 just go, okay, I'm all in. It's just the truth. I know nobody else tells you this, but it's truth. There's no barriers to entry to wholesaling. That's what attracts most of you. But as attractive that is, it's brutal on the other side. People like, I made 23 calls. I didn't get a deal. I go, dude, that's like 9:30. Like that's 15 minutes, 15, 30 minutes of cold calling at best. Like who told you you're going to get a deal in like 23 or 26 calls? And my favorite thing was when people go, Rick, how many calls should I make to get my first deal? How many hours you got in a day? Like you're asking the wrong questions. You're setting yourself up for failure. I know when I did wholesaling, like I'm going to be honest, I kind of had every bridge burnt at that point. So maybe you guys need to get leverage. As Tony Robbins says it best, turn your shoulds into a must. You heard the words try, I could, I should. They're poo-poo. They're poo-poo words. Listen to your vocabulary. It's terrible. Like you already setting yourself up for failure. What's your must? You brush your teeth, right? A lot of you go to work because if you don't go to work, you don't get money to pay your bills. Think about your must. How do I get wholesaling on a must? And until you make that switch in your brain, it's always going to be an option to you. It's just the truth. We've taught hundreds of thousands of people. I've watched the pattern all the time. And I know you think we're repetitive on it. It's because it's the truth. Make it a must. If it's a must, whatever. If it takes you 3 or 6 months, if it takes you a week, I don't have a crystal ball. And you know what? I'm not going to guarantee you anything. I guarantee if you try, you're going to fail.
Exactly.
Make it a must.
I agree. I mean, at this point, you know, when I was starting YouTube, like 5 or 6 years ago, I wasn't having to do half of these talks because everyone just knew they had to work hard. It's the 18-year-olds getting into wholesaling are just getting softer and softer. And the cool part is the absolute like beasts. You know, I got some 19-year-olds that are just crushing wholesaling. They're impressive. I'll tell you, this young generation coming up, the ones that actually work hard are insane. Like absolutely insane. But most of them are pretty bad. So I'll tell you this, okay? First and foremost, understand the bar has never been lower. So really you have to start looking at what your life is looking like right now versus what it's going to look like in the next 30 days. You got to choose. Do you want to do a little bit of sacrifice so your whole life is set up for you, or just be slowly comforted and being broke
like
and
a Rick wholesaling boot camp. I'd run it David Goggins. I'd put you all in a room for a week, and you would have like, you know how like wrestlers get cauliflower? You would get that from all the phone calls you would make.
Oh my God.
And I would just keep leaning on you. I'd be throwing water at you. I'd be distracting you. I'd be hitting you with, we'd be playing dodgeball while we did it.
I'd be breaking some laws. I'd be
I'm
breaking
just
some
telling you,
labor
like
laws.
it's like you would come out of it a superstar, I promise you. But like we all have those tough moments in our life. Some of you got them earlier. Some of you have never gotten it. And sometimes you just need the right person to kind of just go, hey, you know, what do I need to do to trip the switch to really go all in on wholesale?
I'd be bad. I mean, I put the AC at 95 and say, until you hit this many calls, it goes back down.
They used to call it a boiler room on purpose. They turned the heat up until people got deals. So it just, guys, like a lot of this is we give you everything you need to know. It's a little bit different to market and your experience and your confidence level. But at some point, man, you just got to churn on that switch and go and stop whining and just get it done. It's just the truth when it comes to wholesaling. You want to know the difference between successful wholesalers and ones? It's just successful wholesalers never quit. Once you start whining, it is a slippery slope. You're never going to get off that hill.
I agree.
Because you're unproductive. And by the way, when you whine, you complain, you advertise yourself to the successful people. We don't want anything to do with you because like it's like a disease. You ever notice people whine? They're all together. They're just like they cry. And I'm just telling you, man, I don't have enough cheese for your wine. I want to talk about food, but like the reality is, guys, you got to do it. Like it's when you make it a must, every one of you you brush your teeth out of habit. And when you were a kid, I didn't want to brush my teeth either. And then the first time they put a drill in my mouth, I said, okay, I'll brush my teeth. So maybe I need to get like that drill. I would play dodgeball in a boiler room with you guys, and we'd just be boink, make another call. And if I saw the phone down, I'd take the thing and I'd just throw it over. What is it? Dodge, dip, duck, and weave.
Yeah, with a wrench.
That's the kind of training we need, man.
I like it. But the thing I'll tell you right now is you just have to have that mindset that I need, that the work has to be done. Now, if you ever have somebody that like they're really into like working out every day, if they don't work, like their body has already made the time to work out for the day. Like it's already, it's not even a negotiation. Now, not everyone can feel like that. They can't relate to that. So let me give you something you can 100% relate to. And I've done this to select people, and it has a very high success or failure rate depending on the person. What I basically do is I always look at somebody who's kind of like me. You know, I'm not fat, but I like to eat. Okay. You know, I trust me, I don't miss no meals.
Everybody likes to eat.
Everyone likes to eat, but I like to eat. But basically, you've seen me destroy sushi. You've seen me chow down like 8 rolls at a time.
I love sushi.
I can go crazy. But
dude, stop.
Okay. But basically, what I'm saying here is I legit have people that tell me that they can never, they can't ever find the time for cold calling. It's my favorite. It's my favorite one. I can't ever find time to make 100 cold calls a day. I just can't, Rick. I'm just so busy. But guess what I do? Something's a little bigger, you know. Nothing wrong with that. With health, but like, you know. And I basically tell them, I make a rule. I'm like, okay, so you just can't ever find time for cold calling. No, I just can't. So these are all like mental, terrible things in your mind that's stopping you from becoming successful. So just say this. Okay, new rule. Ready? This is a new law. You're not allowed to eat dinner until you make 100 calls. What? I'm like, I promise you, you won't starve to death. You will not die. Okay, like, trust me, you will not die. Survival instincts always kick in. You'll do the calls because it's just prioritization of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't eat for 4 days, just being honest, when you don't eat for 4 days and you have the choice, you can eat if you just make the 100 calls, guess what you're going to do? Survival instincts kick in and you're going to make the 100 calls so you can eat, right?
Yeah.
Human beings are built. We got these like survival brains, okay?
Built on motivation.
You know, and the craziest thing is you don't go, oh, you know, I'm a little nervous to call. No, it's like, I'm starving. I need to go make my calls. And usually half the people just think I'm crazy and then they just quit. And the other half are like, Zach, I'm making 100 calls a day. You know why? Because you're hungry. and it's crazy to think about it, but then you realize like, wow, when I know I have to make my calls before I eat and I can't go to bed hungry. You go to bed hungry once, you never do it again. So basically what I'm saying about this is if you make that rule, you will always find the time to call because your brain subconsciously always makes the time. It's like if you've never worked out and you're always busy, but then you start working out an hour a day, you end up getting the same amount of work done and then you have an hour for working out magically.
You must.
You make it a must. And so if you make making your 100 calls a must, your 500 text for the day, whatever it is, I'm just telling you that either you don't calls or you don't eat. I promise you, human beings have survived for, you know, okay, religious people say 10,000 years, some scientists say millions of years. I don't want to get in this whole debate, but human beings for at least, okay, let's just see what the scientists say, really, ChatGPT. 100,000 years. Okay. Human beings have survived hundreds of thousands of years based off of that mindset. Either I eat or I die. So I promise you, if you go back to the biological programming, how brains work and how most animals work, that's literally all you have to do. That's literally all, like, go back to the most subconscious programming in your brain and hack that so you start getting deals. I promise you, it's the easiest hack anyone can do today. But here's the problem. But if you break your own rule, well, I tried my best today, and then you go eat dinner, it didn't work. You have to make it an actual rule. That's why I'd be sitting in your house in the kitchen, arms crossed, not letting you get anything until you can get your 100 calls in. But your life in the next 30 days can change if you just start changing your mindset. Remember, nothing changes unless something changes. So how do we start getting a wholesale there? Now we have the mindset correct. How do we start getting deals? Well, first and foremost, do we have a budget? Do we not have a budget, right? I'll be honest with you. Budgets are kind of a weird thing, right? Because let me just kind of illustrate how budgets work, right? So there's a nice little chart I can make for you here, basically showing, there we go. Basically showing kind of a little chart like this. Okay, I cannot draw today.
Brutal.
I know it's brutal, but you get the point, right?
Yeah.
Basically, your chance of success is like, now this is going to be basically how many hours you put in the business and the percent chance that you get a deal, right? So if you look at this, right? In wholesaling real estate, the more hours you put into this business, the higher chance you're going to get a deal this month, right? So if you go out here and you pour in at least 40 hours a week, your chance of a deal is very, very high, right? But if you reverse it here and look at a chart like this, how much money basically you have on a budget versus the percent chance you get a deal. If you have $0, your percent chance of a deal mostly is like here, right? And if you're able to invest like $100 a month in your budget, it goes up to like here, right? If let's say it's base, we're going to put 20 hours a week in this business. But let me tell you this, if you throw $1,000 a month, if you throw 10 grand, I mean, it goes up slightly, but it's not like it's like an insane amount. So the first $100 you put in will give you the highest chance of success getting your first wholesaling deal, like the biggest jump. But anything above that, right? I mean, you get slight boosts. So you got to understand, it's not like, you know, oh my gosh, the more money I put in, the higher chance. It's not like that. So what I'm trying to basically emulate here and show you is when it comes to budgets and how it works, $100 will give you the best like boost in chance of success. Anything above that, like it's not going to be this massive change. And so everyone thinks they got to drop 3, 4, 5, 10 grand. That's not going to like give you the best chance of success. Now, the best chance of success is how much hours you put in. And so if you have no money and you're going to put 40 hours a week in this business, you have the highest chance of success over somebody who puts $100 and they want to put 5 hours a week in. You just got to understand, like there's different levels to this. And so if we're getting started in this business, what should you do? Well, I'll be honest with you, right? If you are like absolutely broke, right? So if like you're absolutely broke, you have no money. If you're broke, you have absolutely no money at all. What I would tell you to do is let's go to the free guide. And again, I have the most beautiful handwriting of all time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was
bad.
told when you're rich, you don't need to worry about your handwriting. And it's true. So if you're broke, you don't have many options. Okay. When you were broke, you basically have this little like chart right here. All right. And this is going to be lists. And this is going to be channels. All right. That's pretty much all you got. These are the most important things when you're broke that you need to focus on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what lists, if we have no money at all, can we start getting deals? Well, that one's actually pretty simple. All right. The first list you can get is basically the list of the month, the LOM. Every single month, we give out a free list. We skip trace it. We just pull an X Leads list and give it to everyone, call it the list of the month.
Yeah.
You can also pull government lists. I'll be honest with you. Those are pretty much the only two lists you can do when you're broke. So if you have no budget, I would just stick to these two lists. Those are pretty much all you need to be doing. Now, do we talk about budgets on drawing for dollars? I mean, if you have gas money or whatever, we can call drawing for dollars a list. Some people argue I don't have a budget, so maybe you don't have a car. We don't even have to talk about it. But like really starting out list of the month government lists. Now, our list of the month this month was I actually pulled every active probate in Florida for the past 30 days.
Yep.
You know why? Because X Leads now has a real-time probate list, by the way. Pretty dang cool. But X Leads also the only one with the actual real-time probate list. But X Leads has all the probates. So we pulled every probate in the past 30 days in Florida because X Leads does it like that. And we skip trace and give to everybody. You know why? Because we give free lists to our community members at Wholesale.com. How much does it cost to join our community?
Zero.
It's absolutely for free.
Zero.
So again, first and foremost, if you want to join our community, you just go to freeolson.com right here and you can get the list of the month absolutely for free. Go to classroom marketing. It's all in there. Cha-ching, right? But what I'm trying to show is when you have no money, the only list you can really focus on are list of the month that we provide for free and then the government lists. And we have a whole spreadsheet of how to pull the government list in pretty much every metro market for free. And that's kind of cool. Channels, I'll be honest with you. You can cold call for free. You can text for free. You can do our EOG software system for free. So it's our email offer generating system that we have for free. Our software in there, you can email blast for frees in there. And then from there, you can JV. And then you can do basically, let's add DBS, digital bandit signs. That's pretty much all you got starting out. Now, it's not bad. Like, I don't think it's terrible. But I'll be honest with you, when you have like, we're talking about zero budget, right? You can call, text, email blast, look for JV deals, and then you can post digital bandit signs. I mean, really for free, that's really all you kind of can. I mean, I guess you can door knock, right? I'm going to do DK. Door knock. Not recommended to door knock, but you can door knock if if you like pain. But basically, that's what you got. So I'm telling everybody, right? If you are starting out, you're broke, and you're like, I have no options, no one can help me out. Like, these are all the methods we help you with, right? Freewholesaling.com will teach you how to do it right there. But like, you pull the list, you take the government lists, right? These are probates, code violations, fire damage properties, water shutoffs, tax delinquencies, liens, pre-foreclosures. I mean, we can go all day. Probates, like, all get it from the government, from the, basically, really depends where, right? Tax collector, you can get it from, clerk of the court, right? All these things. But you just pull all the government lists, you skip trace it for free using True People Search, cyber background checks, and you throw them in the channels, and that's what you're starting out. So when I tell you that you got to do 1,000 calls, you probably got to get 1,000 from here, 1,000 from here, and you're going to call, text, or do any of this stuff. That's pretty much it. And you can pair them. So that's not bad. So for example, government lists with cold calling work really good. Government lists with texting works. Government lists with EOG works. Like, that's what I'd be doing. List of the month. They work for all three too. And you're good to go. Thing is, digital bandit signs are super simple.
Yeah.
You could probably do 60. It takes about an hour to do. JVs, just be in our communities. Email blasting, I mean, that takes like 10 minutes a day to send 2,000 emails out. Like, those are inbound leads too. So it's really not that complicated. The problem is everybody wants to, well, Zach, what's the method that makes it even easier? How can I make this any easier? I don't know how to make this any easier. And so if you have no money at all, my first and highest recommendation for you guys to do is going out here and doing the free systems that we all teach. So that's how you do it. Now, if you're broke and you want to go out here and use our tools and software stacks, what do? I'll be honest with you. If you're kind of getting started and you have no money, I'd probably highly recommend that you just stick to a really simple software stack. So, okay, I'm just going to make a new one. Be a little easier. But why is this one white? Yeah, that's fine. I'll just, whoa. Okay. Now, if you have no money, right? So you got $0, you want to get a wholesaling software. The only softwares I'll tell you first and foremost is Zillow, ZGPT, so Zach GPT. So our Flip with Org GPT bot, you don't even need GPT anymore. It was really trained to do comping for you and teach you and train you. And I would tell you is obviously cyber background checks. I'm just using CBC because I think everyone knows what cyberbackgroundchecks.com is. And I mean, for a software stack, I would just tell you Google Voice too. That's really all you honestly need really getting started. I mean, you can obviously go crazy and get some more, but like, the softwares are simple when you're broke. That's the cool part. When you're broke, you don't have many options. Yeah. Stick to Zillow, stick to Zach GPT, right? Our free GPT bot we give everyone. Go use cyber background checks and then call and text through Google Voice. Really can't make this any easier. If you want to get nuts too, you can add basically our Flip with Rick FWR CRM. We actually have a free CRM we give to everyone. And that's all you really need when you're getting started. Again, I'm going to put it on the bottom for everyone for a second, but that's like how you start getting our CRM, our AI bot that's free, and our basically our email blasting software. So I'll put the EOG software in there too. We give that one for free too, our EOG software. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, you really know the 6 software starting out for free, and you're going to be absolutely crushing it. You see, I'm not like telling you, oh, you got to buy this. You got, if you're broke, Like, we got plenty of options for you. Did I tell you it's going to be fun and simple? No. It's going to be a little more work, but you can definitely do that. Now, if you had some money, I would tell you this too, on like kind of on a software end. Let's go here. Now, if you had a budget, I'm just going to push everyone to maybe like, let's say you have $100 a month. Literally what I would do is I would still go out here. I'd pull government lists. Still have to do that, right? I would still drive for dollars. I would also reverse drive for dollars. Very important you do that. And then from there, I would just pull my X leads lists. I get my X leads lists, and then I would hit them all. I'd probably just hit them all, honestly, with a triple tap system. So what is a triple tap system? Pretty simple. What we do is we hit them with a call, a text, and then an email. Now, I like to add a sticky note if we can, but this is how simple it is. We pull government lists. We skip trace inside of X leads for free. We have 25,000 skips on the basic plan now. And then I would drive for dollars, and then pull some X leads lists, and then we hit them all with the triple tap system. Now, we have all the automation set up inside of X leads, but like, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty simple. $100 a month is even easier. Now, this should take at least 20, 30 hours a week at most. Oh. That's pretty much it. And you might be like, well, Zach, what software are you using for all this stuff? I mean, we literally make it simple. We just use X leads for calling, texting, emailing, dispo, government list, driving for dollars. So all gets done in X leads for like $150 a month. So again, I'm not trying to like push you to use X leads, but I'm just telling you that like, don't be told you have to spend $2,000 a month for it. Now, if you had a little higher budget, I'd probably tell you right now. He's just making a new one. All right. Now, if you had a crazier budget too, if you want to add some crazy stuff, X Leads now has $24 coupon club leads for My Speed to Lead. So X Leads has PPL now. So X Leads PPL. If you want to get into the PPL stuff, which we'll talk a little more about in the future, you get leads for about $24. Everybody else is at 29. We're at 20. Everyone else. Okay, I don't even know who this is.
Yeah, it's cute.
Okay, whatever. But basically $24 a lead, you get the X Leads PPL. Like if you have a $500 to $1,000 budget, like sure. Anything above that, like I'm not going to recommend for anyone kind of getting started, right? I don't think $1,000 is probably going to be like the most I'd tell you starting out if you want to go nuts. Because if you spend, let's say you want to go out here and spend $5,000 or $10,000 your first month, you don't even know what you're doing.
That's the problem. I try to tell this to the world. It's like deaf ears. A lot of you guys think you're going to go out and buy this program, and then, but nobody discloses all the hidden charges you're going to get hit with, all the software stacks. And so it's one thing to pay a coaching fee, whatever, but then you got to pay all these software stacks and like very complicated, expensive software that you don't even have an idea how to use. Then you got to go out and do like a marketing budget. Like, and here's the problem. If you're spending $200 or $300 for some of these leads, you want to talk about pressure. If I don't know how to talk to anybody in wholesaling, you are going to feel like massive pressure. It's like being put in a championship game, competing against Michael Jordan. You've never played basketball before. You're going to get eaten alive. It's just the truth. Nobody ever talks about it. So you got to first survive getting into wholesaling. And we talk about like marketing budgets, 100 here, 500,000. If you do marketing correctly, once you get past your first or second deal, wholesaling should pay for itself, meaning you can take a little bit of the profits and reinvest it. But if you guys think you can put 20 grand in the wholesaling and you can just, okay, if I spend $5,000, I'll just multiply it by 4 and get a 400% return. And it's not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. So if you can turn zero into $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000, dude, imagine what you can do with $100, $500, $1,000. See, most people who come into wholesaling who try to do the big baller thing, I've watched it so many times in the state of Florida, 100% fail rate.
Well, let me show you why, right? So again, our system for scaling is pretty simple, okay? And the reason why it's simple is because it's proven it works. First, you do this, right? There's about 3 stages to really getting about like 100 grand a month. Okay, now everyone's gonna, oh no, it's complicated. You have to use my proprietary $30,000 a year wholesaling coaching system. Okay, let me just tell you how to scale a wholesaling business in 3 simple steps. Number 1, you figure out how to get at least 1 deal a month. Simple, right? You figure out what lists work. You figure out what channels work, right? And once you get about like a deal a month for like a year, now we have data on around basically 12 deals, right?
Yeah.
So we go to, okay, so you've done 12 deals in the past year. Congrats, man. You're making 150, 160, 200 grand a year. Awesome. That's pretty good. Okay, well, guess what we're going to do? Actually, no, we're covering ourselves. This is like literally, you and I do the same thing. Like, okay, well, let's look at 12 deals a year. What list were you using, right? And what marketing channels were you using to do that? Guess what we're going to do? We're just going to do more of what works and less of what doesn't work. Okay? And then guess what we're going to do? We're going to test some more things out. And we're just going to add volume. We're going to add volume on stuff that's actually getting success. For example, if you have found calling code violations is giving you a deal a month, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have you call more code violations. You're going to say there's no more code violations to call. Guess what we do? Text the code violations.
There you go.
Zach, you're a genius. But statistically, I've been doing this for a while. If you're getting 20 grand a month texting pre-foreclosures, I promise you, email blasting the pre-foreclosures or just reverse trying for dollars, the pre-foreclosures, will crush it. And so that's number 2. Then number 3, what you do is you just pretty much hire VAs to do the high volume for you, right? And then you basically get an acquisitions manager. And really, depending on how much volume you can push, you get someone on the dispo. And then boom, you're at 100 grand a month. I mean, then you kind of you do a little wholesaling here and there. Let me write wholesale. You get kind of in the wholesale game. But like this is, and this is why I'm telling you, like, I'm not trying to like make this crazy complicated system for you, but 3 steps, like absolutely 3 simple steps to get your first wholesaling real estate deal and then growing into 100 grand a month. I want you to know there's no crazy secret system here. You do a deal a month, you figure out what's working, you do more of that at scale. Okay, great. It's really simple. And then guess what? After that, you start hiring VAs and you start doing more high equity lists and just kind of like bigger lists right here. And then that's it. That's how you start doing it. And the craziest thing about it is you go from 12 deals a year, then you'll probably get 24, and then you just keep scaling out from there. It's simple.
Yeah, but you got to execute.
That's all I'm telling you. Got to execute right here. So if you want to get to 100 grand every single month, like that's it. So stop trying to go out here and complain and say, oh my gosh, I have to get these crazy systems. I have to go buy PPC leads and go all in and do 6,000, type of channels. Guys, focus on the basics, start scaling the basics out, and they can really start expanding your reach, because you're going to get to the point in wholesaling where you're like, I don't have enough leads to call. I'm calling, like, I need more leads to call. At that point, we have to be like, well, anything with above 40% equity, you just got to call and text them, send them all direct mail, and then you start adding in some PPL leads in there. But like that's how you do it. Okay. That's how you start doing it. But it drives me so crazy that so many wholesalers go out here and they just don't even understand the simple process of this. Start getting a deal a month. Start getting your first deal a month, 2 deals a month, then 3. Like, you slowly progress. I tell everyone it's a video game. Okay, your deals per month is your level at the video game. So most people, the top tier is getting at least 20, level 20, right?
Yeah.
So level 1 is just getting a deal a month. Level 2, 2 deals a month. Like there's just levels to the game. Okay. That's pretty much it. All right. But you can't go from level 1 to level 15 just like that. I mean, you could if you want to spend a crazy amount of money, but you're not going to have the skill sets. And so my problem is, and the reason why I tell you that you need to go from level 1 to 3 is if you try to get the VAs and the acquisitions managers and all this, and you don't even know what lists are working, it's all going to go to nothing. You don't go to level 2 and add a crazy amount of volume unless you know what lists and channels are actually working. That's it. It's like opening up pizza shops. Make sure that before you open 30 pizza shops, how about we open one up and make sure that pizza shop like is working and people like it?
Yep.
And then we go to the second pizza shop. Then we make the third one, then the fourth one, then the fifth one. You just don't make 1,000 pizza shops out of that. You get one that's working, make sure it's proven, then get the next one, then get the next one.
Yep.
That's how we did Airbnb, right? Like we made sure one was working before you went and buy a bunch of them. And then we had to go back to long-term rentals because that was not working too well. But like any business you run, that's how business works. You just don't go crazy on something. You prove it and then you scale it. So many people want to talk about scaling instantly. It's not how business works. Okay. Drives me crazy. So that's how you start scaling it out on there, right? So that's how you start doing the software stack. But before anyone ever tells me, oh, Zach, how many leads until I get a wholesaling deal? How many leads until I get a wholesaling deal? That word shouldn't even be spoken unless you've hit your 1,000, 1,500. That is it. Okay. Shouldn't even be spoken at all. All right. But the craziest issue that I find with wholesalers, I always want to complain about, oh my gosh, Zach, how many leads to get a deal? It's like, the kids always say like, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Are we there yet?
That was you.
Well, how about we say this? Count to 1 million and we'll be there. That's how I'm going to say that. Do 10,000 calls, 30,000 calls. But realistically, most people don't complain. And once they hit that, they already got so many leads that they're not even asking how many leads to get a deal because they already got so many leads that they're already getting deals, right? It's driving me crazy. So again, hit your 1,000 calls, your 1,000 texts, and your 500 drawing for dollars leads. And I promise you, you're going to start getting a ton of wholesaling deals right now here. So let me ask everyone in the comments, how many calls, like how many hours does it take to do 1,000 calls? Let me know in the comments. How many calls do you think it takes? How many hours do you think it takes to do 1,000 calls? I'm genuinely curious right now. How many? How difficult is this? All right. How many calls does it take? Let me know. What do you guys think? Let's see in the comments. Let's see what they're saying. So right now, they say it takes about 5 to 6 hours to make that. Okay, bro, you're tripping. 5 hours to make 1,000 calls? Are we serious right now? This is ridiculous.
How many calls that an hour?
That's like 200 an hour. Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous. No, depends on the dialer. 20 minutes. Bro, what are we doing?
20 minutes.
Okay. So if you're broke and you want to do it all yourself, I'd probably tell you it should take about 20 hours to make 1,000 like realistic calls. People are picking up. You're actually talking to people like actually right there. Okay. But most people don't want to talk about it, right? They all want to complain. They all want to, oh, I don't know what's happening and all these things. Guys, the truth here in wholesaling real estate is to make 1,000 calls, it's going to take most likely it's going to take about 20 hours to make 1,000 calls. 20 hours, bro. That's literally it. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's 20 hours. So put the 20-hour bank. And remember, there's so many variables that go into it. The type of caller you're going to do, the type of the market, the time of day you call. Some of you guys call it the wrong time. And it's hard to get a connection rate. So there's so many things, but the idea is most people, they go, I want to make 1,000 calls. Okay. How much time do you think it's going to take you to do that? Now, the reality is nobody's going to sit down and do a 20-hour block. It's not even feasible because you have to have windows for cold calling too. So I'm just telling you, a lot of people throw numbers out there and they don't understand how much work that has to go behind it. And are you doing it all manually? You're going to do it from your cell phone. You're going to use a multi-line dialer. You're going to use a triple line dialer. Are you calling after work? Because you guys know the windows what to call people. You can't call them in the middle of the night. You can't call them early in the morning. So it's going to take more than one day. In fact, break it down. The last part of it is, what is your schedule? How much time is it going to take you to get it done? Are you working full time? Are you caring for kids? You got to figure it out. Most of you are making calls in the evening, like 4 to 8. So if that gives me 4 hours and it takes 20, that's pretty much a week in your life. And you have to understand it. When you throw out comments, oh, I get it done in an hour or something like that, maybe you're just being facetious, but the reality is it takes real work. So when I tell someone 1,000, everyone's like, oh, yeah, I'll do 1,000. And I go, well, listen, you're going to have to give up a week of your life. To like, what? And that's the truth. And talk about calling fatigue. Nobody can go through, like, I recommend like 2, maybe 3 hours. Some of you guys are really good. You can go a 4 to 6 hour run. That's the exception, not the rule. We're human beings. We get tired of talking to people. And remember, you got to spend a lot of time playing phone tag, people calling you back, leaving messages, and just working through it. So keep this in mind. The idea is why we're trying to tell you, if I tell you 1,000 hours, you got to take a time commitment to it. And it's not an hour or two. Sometimes it's weeks or multiple weeks or even a month. Some of us have less time than others. So you have to build that when you're attacking your marketing plan.
There we go. So I'm telling you right now, all right, most of y'all kids out here, you spend more time on Twitch, spend more time on YouTube, spend more time on TikTok. It's a streaming. It's where gaming streamers hang out. But basically, y'all spend more time watching other people play video games and playing video games than 20 hours in a week. So
how much do you spend on your fantasy football time?
All I'm asking, if you just spend all this dang time on just calling, you would hit your 20 hours. And you still get to hang out after work. Here's the thing. I'm going to give everyone a disclaimer. All right. Me and Rick are massive Miami Dolphins fans. Okay. So much so, we even have the big Dolphins helmet. Okay. We even got the big Dolphins helmet. Okay. So we're big Miami Dolphins fans over here. All right.
I am being tempted to smack you upside the head with that.
Okay. So me and Rick, we love the Miami Dolphins.
We enjoy it. It's entertaining.
We enjoy it. Okay.
We're never gonna win.
I'll let you know. I will always glaze the Miami Dolphins and tell them they're the greatest, right? But I'll tell you this, okay? Me and Rick still watch all the Miami Dolphins games. But I'll tell you this, all right? I know people in here that'll watch 30 hours a month or 30 hours a week of just NFL. All right. But y'all won't spend 30 hours to change your life. Okay. I'm telling you right now. All right. If some of y'all just stuck to one team and you stopped watching all these other football games, you watch some highlights here and there, and you put that time into cold call. I'm just trying to be honest with you. Some of y'all will spend way too much time on sports and things that just don't make you money. Now, so I love the Dolphins. I love watching football. Trust me. Okay. I will tell you that you should really start. Like, how much time do I actually spend watching sports and Netflix and all? Like, should really start looking at this. Okay. Really start thinking about it. How much time am I really spending on there? Right. And start figuring out what's actually going to make you change your life or not. I want to give you a good quote. And this is probably one of the most interesting quotes. Let's see here. Well, it's an old Roman Empire quote. It was kind of scary. It's from Juvenal. But let me actually pop this quote up from Juvenal. It's actually kind of crazy. I think this was a Roman senator. He said this. So,
yeah.
So it's definitely very interesting. But this was from the old, like thousands of years ago. This is quotes that they used to say about people. Okay. And it's kind of scary. But what do most people do? They work a job and then that's pretty much it. And then they go home. And if they're not entertained, then bad things happen. So what they basically did, and this is the truth about the Roman Empire, is they built the Colosseum. And when people went in the Colosseum, they got entertained, obviously. I mean, who doesn't want to watch a guy with a sword fight a lion? I mean, come on, that's better than any NFL game I'd ever watch.
It's true.
And they'd give him bread, right? And
it's like Squid Games live.
You might be like, oh, that's really sick. I'd love to do that. I'd love to get a hot dog and watch a football game, right?
Yeah.
But here's a quote from the Roman Semper Juval. But give them bread and circus, and they will never revolt. This is quite an interesting statement, right? And pretty much the statement showing that if you just keep somebody, if you give them food and entertainment, they will just get kind of basically lulled, right? They won't complain. They won't revolt. They won't make a change. And they kind of just keep you status quo as the worker bee.
Mm-hmm.
This was thousands of years ago that the higher ups were saying this. Crazy. Now, I don't know the whole perfect definition of now, but I think a hot dog and watching a football game on the TV, pretty much the same thing, right? TikTok and some food, and TikTok and $1.50 hot dog at Costco sounds pretty much the same thing to me. But think about that for a second, right? Sometimes we're living in this kind of world where, again, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of in a mode right now that TikTok and how easy it is to get food, like we're kind of at that same point now. So if some of y'all like, look at that, that's old time. No. This is still now. This is still what's happening now.
Yeah, your Coliseum is your football stadium.
Yeah.
Everything else. I mean, guys, Netflix, and you're paying for that. I mean, you're paying for all the stuff too. At the end of the day, listen, it's entertaining, but you're the product at the end of the day. Advertising, the seats, the food, everything like that. And, if you had to sit down and figure out your own life, you could actually do some serious damage. But if you let other people program you, tell you what's entertaining and do that, you're going to have a problem. I love football. Okay. I love UFC, all this other stuff, but there was a time in my life where that was my priority. I'm not overly proud of it. I just didn't understand. And some of you, if you took the same passion you did with your football teams, with all your sporting events, with your Netflix, I mean, some of you guys like Netflix, they got you where they do an algorithm to figure out what other movies you want, and they just keep you on and they keep you on and you get hooked. Like, honestly, the way you should use a TV is go, here's the programs I'm watching this week, and that's it. Once you turn on that TV, it's over, man. It will drain your pocketbook because time is money and money is time. And if you don't think it is, what's the big deal? You give up an entire Sunday, some of you, to watch football in your home, or some of you go to the stadiums. Now, I'm all about entertaining, and if there's a kid involved, go for it. But there has to be a time you have to stand up. Listen, either you're going to be the hero in your life, or people who idolize, oh my God, Tom Brady. Now, Tom Brady's amazing, but he's not my hero in my life. And so you guys got to stick up for your families, and you got to go out there and give a fight. But like, you glorify all these movie stars and these sports players, and I enjoy them too, but they are not a fundamental part of my life. I want the Dolphins to win the championship, but I don't depend on it. And I just cheer it on. Because here's the reality. When the Dolphins won the championship, did I do anything?
No.
I didn't do a damn thing other than sit on my couch and go, Tua, you suck. Something like that. So the reality is, like, I love when people, we won the championship. You didn't win crap. Why don't you go win the championship trophy for your family in wholesaling or whatever vehicle you want to choose, and stop acting like you won it? Listen, I love the Florida Panthers. I didn't win the Stanley Cup. I don't dance around. I'm happy for it. It was very entertaining, but I didn't do squat. And if you understand at the end of the day, like, we won the championship, you didn't do a damn thing. And once you realize that and go, why am I giving up all my time, my resources, my season tickets? I got to go out and fight. Now, make a sacrifice in wholesaling and then go get some box seats or go bring all the kids in your neighborhood to a football game. And that's how you have a real impact. But you guys aren't getting anywhere. I did this in my teens and my 20s. And it's not that I regret it. I just learned and I grew up. And I want you to understand. But that enthusiasm, that passion you have for your team, put it in wholesaling, you do some serious damage. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
That's it. So you guys commit to every game. You make it a must. We're telling you to do the same thing with wholesaling. That is the key ingredient to get your first deal.
And guess what the scoreboard is? It's your bank account.
That's it. That's a powerful one, man.
Oh yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, and you can run up the score. There's no what do they call it when the one team's beating
Mercy
the other
rule.
team? Yeah, it's the mercy rule. Or if you're in a league where they don't keep score, get your kid out of it right away. Because that's not how life works. Everybody keeps a scorecard at the end of the day. And you can show up every day and fix that scorecard. But if you don't show up, I guarantee you the scorecard's 0 or possibly negative.
Yeah. So just letting you guys know. So first and foremost, you must revolt on your current life. So look at how much time you're spending on your TikTok, YouTube, stupid stuff. And if we transfer that over to at least an hour a day of just running, walking, something that we're like at least doing some sort of physical activity. And again, this is not Zach, the fitness channel, even though everyone knows that I am the most jacked wholesaler of all time. I will tell you this though. It's very important though, because I will tell you, once your health tanks, if you're in a hospital, you can't wholesale. Okay. That's all I'm going to tell you.
You know what saying I did on, what was it, the live on? Oh, it was Tuesday or Monday.
Okay.
You can either have 1,000 problems or you can have one problem. You can have 1,000 wholesaling problems.
Oh, that's a Confucius quote. Or
when your health goes to like nothing, that's the only problem. And if you don't solve it, you don't have to worry about any of the others.
Well, you know what the Confucius quote is? It says, it's a man with 1,000. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A man that is healthy has 1,000 problems, and a man that is sick has one problem.
That's pretty much it.
That's the Confucius quote from 2,000 years ago. And that's the exact truth.
It's as true as it can be, even more so in the United States right now. So carefully pick your problems. If you have problems, it means you're alive. If you have one problem, it means you're trying your best to stay alive. And guess what? The person with the one problem, it's their must. Like most of them are going to do whatever they can to fix their health so they can stay alive. So not that you're going to die if you don't do wholesaling, but like it could be a very slow death. I'm just going to be brutal about it. Like
yes. So replace the stupid stuff that's not making you money. Make wholesaling your sport. Still watch your sports here and there, right? But don't make it like your only sport. Now, again, me and Rick are just sore losers because the Dolphins never win. So we are kind of upset.
Oh, we don't have to invest a lot of time in watching the games.
Let me tell you this. How many hours have you put into watching the Dolphins versus how many Super Bowls have they won since you've been watching it? 0.
Yeah, I was basically.
Let's say you started watching the Dolphins when you're 6 years old. How many hours you put in watching Dolphins, and how many Super Bowls do you have?
I got nothing to show for it.
Theoretically, you could call it a waste. But it's hurtful to think about that. But like, you're just entertained to a point. Now the question is, with all that time you put in, if you put into wholesaling and then you were able to buy even a bigger boat, would you be even happier? I mean, we could talk about that all day.
Guys, lift your own trophy. Like when your team wins, you didn't win you didn't do anything other than like support them financially and spend time so they could market you. And nobody can ever look through that. I'm like, I still have friends that just go, I go, dude, really? You went to all the practice, you trained in the Pee Wee League, you worked your way all the way up. Listen, every one of those people that commit to those sports team, they made a huge sacrifice. We're asking you to do the exact same thing. Why do you think you're any different? You want to be a professional wholesaler? Make the sacrifice.
Exactly. And so the one thing I will let you know, and this is very important for everyone understanding about sports and real estate and wholesaling, all the stuff, but just if you make wholesaling your sport, you're the quarterback, you're in control. And I promise you this, and I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart. I don't care if you're a diehard Eagles fan, if you're a diehard Patriots fan, Dolphins fan, whatever fan of whatever sports team, the Lakers, whatever it is. You will get the amount of dopamine that hits your brain from getting your first wholesaling deal with a $30,000 check in your hand. You're 19 years old. The amount of happiness and dopamine that goes through your brain when you put it through the ATM and you look at your phone, there's $30,000 in that bank account. You've never had $30,000 in your bank in your life. Your parents have never had $30,000 in your bank account in your life. The amount of happiness that you get from that first time is like 100 times better than if your favorite sports team wins a championship. I promise you this. So if you really want to go for the highest high, okay, of sports, you just make big 30 bands in wholesaling. And I'll be honest with you, as somebody that can make millions of dollars, wholesaling, we made another million this month. It's like, good job. Like it's not like, oh my God, like, because it's just humans are really good at getting baseline, right? That's like if you drink 10 cups of coffee a day for a week, you're gonna be crazy. But if you drink 10 cups of coffee every day for 5 years, your body kind of gets calibrated to it, right?
Justice. Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, if you really want to get like the most excitement, get that first wholesaling deal. I think everyone here that got their first wholesale deal or even more, they can talk about it all day. But here's the thing, guys. Don't get X leads. Again, we talk about X leads. If you can't stick to 1,000 calls a month, don't even get X leads. Okay, we got people getting X leads. So if you're not going to like work hard, don't even get the software, right?
It's not going to do the work for you.
Trust me. We already got we got a lot of people sign up for it. You know, we don't need people that don't even want to work on it. But the one thing I'll tell you is, if you have a higher budget, I would consider testing out this $24 PPL leads.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason is, if you're doing 5 or 6 deals a month, right? I got a couple guys calling me. They're calling me this week. They're like, should I try these $24 coupon club? I know it's 29 everywhere else, but 24 only for X Leads users for iSpeed Lead. Should I do it? I'm like, I literally told the guy, I'm like, bro, you're making 70 grand a month. Like, just throw $2,000 at it.
Yeah.
Should I do it? Should I do it? I literally told the guy, I'm like, you're making $70,000 a month. Like, the opportunity, if it doesn't work, is going to hurt you even more.
Yeah, and keep this in mind when we tell you wholesaling is all about minimizing risk, maximizing reward. In the beginning, when you got no money, you got to do stuff for free. That's why I have freewholesaling.com. But once you start making 10, 20, 30, 50 grand, spending a couple grand on maybe a paid lead, it's not the end of the world. It's a very minimal risk, but you have to have the income. You have to have the leads to get it. So when we say that, we're not telling you to be, if you're broke, don't do it. Period.
No, I'm giving everyone tools if they're
freewholesaling.com, but I'm just telling you, start making money, dude. A little investment is going to let you scale your business. So you got tools, you got direct mail, PPL. There's so many ways you can do it, but just understand, when I tell someone to do that, they are doing $2,000 is not a lot of money to them. And then what they can get for a reward is huge. So it still fits our criteria: minimize risk, maximize reward.
But the thing I tell everyone is, Zach, you're the guy that teaches for free. I get that all the time. I'm like, no. Okay, I'll teach for free, but I'm not going to be the guy that pushes everyone to spend $0 on marketing. Okay, let me be completely clear with everyone. The reason why I will pull lists from X Leads and give it to everyone for free, even though it hurts people signing up for X Leads, right, is first and foremost, I'm just trying to get everybody to get at least 2 or 3 deals so they have some money to invest in systems, so they don't have to be doing this brutal, like, I have no money grind. Mm-hmm. That grind sucks, where they can at least throw $200 a month into marketing, because your life gets infinitely easier when you put a little bit of money into marketing. But the thing about it is, once you start getting a deal a month, you need to start spending money on marketing. Let's make that very clear. You don't need any money to get started. Make your first 10 grand, then invest that 10 grand into making the system even better. But I'm not the guy that's going to tell you to make 100 grand a month using no systems, no employees, nothing. Okay. Like, I want to get that me and Rick spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. We are doing millions of dollars a year just in costs of advertising for our wholesaling real estate business. Now, I will tell you this, on our YouTube channel, our social medias, actually, like, we don't spend any money on ads. I have not put a dime into Facebook ads, YouTube. I don't do ads on the social media stuff, because I'm the only guy who'll teach it for free, and the publicity is fine. But in our own wholesaling business, yeah, we brag about how we don't spend any money on Facebook ads or YouTube ads for X Leads or freewholesaling.com. We don't do that. But I will be honest, we are spending millions of dollars a year on marketing in our own wholesaling operations. So let's just kind of monkey see, monkey do. I'm not telling you to run that type for yourself, but just understand that we are spending a ton of money because we get an insane return on that money. Just telling you the truth here. So just understand this. Either you find the time or the time finds you. Life is going to keep passing you by no matter what. I want everyone to understand that. Life is going to keep passing you by no matter what. That means Sheila's birthday next week. Oh, I'm too busy. I can't cold call because I got that birthday. And then you got that coming. Then you got that coming. And I promise you, there's always going to be something that's going to keep you busy. That's how life works. And, I'm not qualified to say it because I'm 25. But since I started wholesaling at 16, I pretty much blinked. I'm 25, 9 years later, right?
That's quick.
So just really understand that blink of an eye, if you just, I'll do it later, turns into 15 years. crazy. So you're just going to get busier the older you get. So the time's always going to, oh, should I do it? Should I not? The time's now. You have to go all in for your success right now. So commit to doing at least 1,000 calls, 1,000 texts, 500 drawing for dollars leads, and start getting it. If you have no money, commit to at least 40 hours a week. That's, what's 40 divided by 7? 6 hours a day, maybe? Guys, you can find 6 hours after work if you want to grind like crazy. If you go get X leads, you could probably put 10, 20 hours in a week, about $150 a month. That's fine too. We teach both of those at freewheelsing.com. But really just decide what your budget is and how much time you can put in this business. You're good to go. But I'm telling everyone, just join our free wholesaling community, whole entire action plan, our AI coach, all that stuff. It's in freewheelsing.com and you can start crushing it. I mean, I was showing people the other day how you can use the AI just to coach you how to close sellers. It's insane. It'll tell you how well you did on a live call. I showed it. You can actually upload your recorded conversations to the AI, and the AI will tell you, well, Rick says this, and it's crazy. So, guys, go to freewheelsing.com and learn how to wholesale real estate for free. Guys, I believe everyone can do it. Just commit to the time and commit to the work. I don't want to hear anyone complaining to me that I can't get wholesaling. Did you do 1,000 calls, 1,000 texts? I don't want to hear it. Right?
No excuses, man. You either you're going to make $1 million excuses or $1 million. I've never met anyone that did both ever. So the more excuses, just feed your ego, because that's the only person you're justifying, and you're going to repel quality people out of your life that actually want to help you. So just keep it in mind every time you complain about something.
There you go. JT says, can I get a deal a month virtually only cold calling X leads less 25, 30 hours a week? Yeah, if you use the triple line dialer, yeah, easily. Depends if you commit to it, right?
Yep.
Let's see here. Smile says, I bought a $200 PPO lead and got a contract for 15. Awesome, bro.
That's cool.
Let's see. You says, I've been calling for 7 days straight, 8 hours a day. Whoa, that's a lot. And he says, I've only gotten 1 lead so far, but we still hear dialing. Yui, bro, okay, so this is a very important part. What list are you calling? What script are you using? Because you should get a lot more leads than that. Are you using a bad skip trade? I got to understand what's going on. See, it's important to do the volume, but if you're doing the volume in the wrong place, it's like saying I'm running, I'm going to run 20 miles north and then you run 20 miles northwest, right? If you go off trajectory a little bit, it doesn't matter how far you run. If you're running the wrong direction, it's not good. Hector says, amazing feeling when support from both X leads, ICP actually answer the phones. That's it. We got the real-time support on X leads. I will be honest with everyone though. We got a lot of signups last week, and so the support's a little slower. We did say 12 hours. It's probably gonna be 24 hours for probably next month.
It'll catch up.
We're
guys.
having
times.
This is. I mean, I'll be honest with everyone on X leads. I've never had this many signups in a month, so it's pretty cool. But I will be honest with you. The support's going to be at least 24 hours for the next month. I did not. The amount of people that signed up was double what we expected. And I hired 12 people in anticipation, 12 support staff on the phones, extra to anticipate.
Yeah.
And we needed double of that.
Yep.
And so currently we're looking to hire maybe 15 more people. But they take 2 months to train. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So there's so much training that gets involved with it. I have to train them. So yeah. But again, we are answering most of the phones live. And so that's exciting, or we'll give you a call back. So yeah, a little crazy, but pretty cool. Let's see here. Is there a free trial X leads? No, we'd have no free trial X leads. We could probably get a few thousand people a month on a trial. That'd be cool. That'd be great probably. But I'll be honest with you, we're trying to keep the support like the highest level of support possible. And adding, 3,000 people in a month of a free trial is probably going to be straining the customer service. So when we do a free trial, I'm probably going to triple our customer support staff and then do it, but nothing right now.
Yeah.
Francis, got my first deal done, working on a second deal.
That's awesome.
Let's go. Love it.
Congrats.
Let's see here. Max, this is the fastest way to get your A2P registered. Go to the Help Center X Leads, and we have the whole thing. Tomorrow we're doing an A2P workshop for our X Leads users. So just go to freewheelsing.com. It's right there. Joshua just made a 10,000. Look at that family.
That's awesome.
Let's go. That's so cool. I just made a $10,000 in assignment fees without paying nothing. Just just off of YouTube University. Let's go, Joshua. Love to
Awesome.
see that. And I never taught Joshua before. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's sick. Juan says, I'm not here to complain, but I think everyone in the chat can agree that boomers had it easier. We're able to afford a house and minimum wage. Juan, you're 100% correct on that. But Juan, let me tell you this. If you let's complain about boomers for a second. If you wanted to make $1 million at 20 years old in 1953, would that be easier or harder than it is now? I will tell you 10 out of 10 times it's easier to make $1 million at 20 years old now than it was in 1946. We'll do an inflation adjusted $1 million, whatever that is, right? But I'm telling you, everyone likes to talk about the cons, but nobody wants to talk about how much easier it is to get rich while you're young.
A lot of them are doing back-breaking labor to do that too.
Yeah. So, yeah. Leroy says, I have a subscription for iSpeed Elite Coupon Club. Yes. So if you have a iSpeed Elite subscription, sign up to xleads.com and you're automatically go to iSpeed Elite. You'll get your $29 down to $24. So just FYI, if anyone has iSpeed Elite Coupon Club, if you have an active XLead subscription, you can retroactively get your coupon club discounted for life, as long as you keep your XLeads active account. So again, we got a couple questions like that. We have a lot of people who are coming from other softwares are like, hey, I want to switch so I get the iSpeed Elite discount. And they're like, who's Zach? I don't even know who Zach is, but like, what's going on? It was kind of funny. But yeah, pretty cool. Let's see here. Zach, how much does it speed up the process if you were working with a friend or brother who's willing to work 12 hours a day minimum, just like you? I mean, as long as you guys divide and conquer, that's fine. But it should be easier. I mean, I would have somebody drive for dollars, reverse drive for dollars, and someone calling, and then you switch on and off. That's probably what I'd be doing. I mean, what do you say there?
That's kind of a loaded question. It's, if you get somebody in that will fight as hard as you do, like when Zach came in my business, all he wanted to do was grow the business. So if they have a growth mentality and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, but a lot of times when you bring them in, it does get, when you have to depend on other people, go, okay, you're going to do all the follow-ups. I'll do the initial calls. You can do this. As long as they carry that torch, you're in good shape. But once they want to negotiate, I don't want to do this, I want to do that. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, you're just better off on your own. I'm just telling you, because a lot of you think it's a miracle. If you bring somebody in your business, you should be doubling your business because you have to split it. And a lot of people overlook that. So, make the right decision, make the tough call up front. If you have a friend that's kind of lazy and they go, oh my God, this wholesaling seems exciting, they're going to quit after a few weeks or a month. And that's the last thing you need. So keep that in mind.
There we go. That's how you do it. Also, got some good questions here. Let me see here. You guys like the guy we interviewed last week? We had that was pretty cool. Roger Antonio.
Yeah.
They made $500,000 the first year of wholesaling. That was really cool.
That was cool.
Actually message me. I got to message them back. Sebastian says, what kind of knowledge would you add besides the action in the free course? By far is the networking. Like, let me bring you to freewholesaling.com, put it on the bottom. If you go to freewholesaling.com and network with other people making 20 grand, if you have a network of friends who are like 10 or 15 and they're all making 20 grand a month wholesaling, you are more likely to make 20 grand a month wholesaling. If you go to your friends who are all broke with a job telling you, stop, why are you doing this wholesaling thing? Which one's going to yield you better results? Your network's going to be important. Not saying don't hang out with your friends. I'm saying get another circle of just successful wholesalers that are young like you, and your chance of success skyrockets. That's why I also say go to ZachDiscord.com. That's our Discord community. And freewholesaling.com, Zach Discord. I mean, they're both awesome communities, and they're both ran by me. Pretty cool. Great question here from Diani. Hi, probate here. Best way to explain to a PR that they can sell without being on the deed. I've tried multiple times, but they still think they have to be on the deed to sell.
It's a myth, mostly perpetuated by lawyers. So they usually get instructed like a lawyer. One thing I found out in life, when people get instructed by a lawyer or like a real estate agent, like they think it's like the law, like this is the Bible of how real estate works. It's bull. And if you want to test it out, it depends on what state the probate's in. But the reality is usually the biggest assets people own is real estate, and probate is written around it. So say grandma dies, leaves the house. She's got, $100,000 mortgage left on it. You still got to mow the lawn. You got to turn on the utilities. You got to pay the insurance. You got to do the property tax. And if you start avoiding any of that stuff, that house is going to go downhill quick. So the problem with a lot of probates, depending on the level of their assets, is that expensive assets like real estate can drain the estate. So in this instance, if it costs $1,500 to keep that house running and the probate takes 1 year to get done, that's $12,000 that's coming out of that estate. So if I know that and I educate myself on how the probate laws work, is almost every state has a concession to liquidate an asset that is going to hurt the estate. Every piece of real estate has a cost every day. Here's the key is no one's going to tell you about it except Rick and Zach. So what you can do is if you have a buyer and a seller that agree to a contract, the seller of the property, not you, this is very important. You can basically instruct them that go, listen, we can actually sell the property before the probate's done. Here's the key difference is that money goes into the estate, but it's not bleeding $1,000, $1,500 a month. And most people that run an estate, especially the PR, go, dude, that sounds really good. Because think of all the tax, like the liability. Like, we're in the peak of hurricane season. Who wants to take care of grandma's house during the peak of hurricane season? I got to board it up. I got to mow the lawn. And the idea is, so how do you do it? You basically have to instruct your seller to ask the attorney to file a motion to liquidate the asset. The best way to do it is talk to your title company they deal with all the time. Attorneys will never, ever volunteer this. Why? They lose control. They want to hang on till the very end. And they tell them you can't do anything until the property deed changes hands. It's 100% a lie. You can sell that piece of real estate under probate without ever going on the deed. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Why? I've done hundreds of them that way. And I'm telling you, now some states are a little trickier than others, but if you use that formula, get the contract, has your seller commit to selling the asset before it's closed. Now, here's the key difference. The money goes in the estate. They don't get it right away, but it's not bleeding anymore.
Yeah.
And who bleeds it worse than a lawyer? Like, that's the problem. I got to follow all these motions. And so once I have that, I would reach out to your title company and go, listen, we agree to sell the property. What instructions do I need to give to the lawyer? The lawyer cannot say no, but they're not going to volunteer it. And that's the key difference. Go over to freewholesaling.com, get the level 4. You can access PPS 3.0. And that is my detailed training probate. And it'll tell you step by step on how to do that.
There we go. Last question here. First notice of termination today, not as bad as I thought. There we go. Quit his job, all in on wholesale, and love to see it.
That's a great
And
feeling.
then we're going to end it on Don today. Preach, we're closing 2 deals next month and getting another locked up Saturday. All thanks to Zach and Rick. Let's go.
That's awesome, man.
Well, come on, Don. Bro, I love that. Come on. Let's get it. So we're going to end on that one. Come on, guys. All we do is teach how to wholesale real estate. We're helping more people than anyone else. And join the community, freewholesaling.com, and we'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out.
Rick Ginn signing out.
See you soon, guys. This was an earlier live stream. We're going to go back to 5 o'clock. We got something today. We'll post about it later, but really appreciate it.